See what we got. I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you guys here. I go by the name of L'Esprit. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, what I do as a spiritual healer is exactly what the title says. You know, I help you to turn knowledge into wisdom. In other words, you know, the whole idea of the words becoming flesh is the manifestation of your higher state of consciousness. You know, it's, in other words, it's you becoming fully developed as a human being. Um, you know, that's pretty much what I do, man, as a spiritual healer. Now, the way I go about doing that is that I help you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And the reason being is, well, it's part of our nature. For you to see the big picture, you can't see anything from one side. You have to see it from different angles. Then you have, you know, the ultimate ways of looking at it. But most importantly, too, if you know anything about your emotions, if you're not emotionally balanced, let's just say when you're mad or you're in love or whenever like that emotion is not fully controlled or is not being, you know, fully controlled, you know, you tend not to see what's in front of you. You know, that's why they would tell you, like, if you're mad, you don't want to make a life decision you might regret because there's certain things you wouldn't see at that present time. But that goes also to show you, you know, how important it is for our vision. You know, since we were talking about, you know, attaining your highest level of consciousness, you know, you being emotionally unbalanced when people are being triggered, you know, for the most part, there's something's missing. There's an understanding, there's a disconnection, you know, between that person and who they are, for the most part. So therefore, that is the reason why you have to become mentally and emotionally balanced. So far, we just addressed the emotion part of it. Now, most people, you know, we all recognize, hey man, like when your emotions has the best of you, you know, you're losing, you didn't see what you were supposed to see, whatever the fuck the situation is. But I also want you to keep that in mind too, because this is also revealing our state of being in terms of how do we really see things. And that's why in just a second I'll be talking about that. But spirituality is a practical matter. This is how we are. This is not a philosophy. This is not a you know, it's no philosophies here. We're talking about who you, like, regardless of the, like, as a man thinketh, so he becomes. That goes for every man. You know, regardless of where you are or who you think you are. You know, and even that, you know, I mean, who you think you are is who you're gonna be. But anyway, again, this is reflecting our essence in terms of the way we operate. Because, you know, again, and that's what spirituality is pretty much all about. You know, that's why, like, for me as a spiritual healer, that's what I do. Like, really, like, it's about us. And then you get to discover different things about you. But most importantly, you get to realize that you are spirit, because when you start to analyze yourself and really get a deeper understanding of who you are, then you realize you have to go beyond your physical self. That goes for everybody. And this is going to be a big part of the conversation of what we're going to be talking about tonight, because what we really talking about, oh my God, like the sun, I feel like I may have to move, man. Shit. This shit's right on me. You know what I'm saying? Shit's right on me, dog. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get... All right. There we go. A little bit better now. All right. Shit. The sun was fucking me up. All right. Now, back to what we were talking about here, people. Yeah, so essentially, you know, again, so I really talk about us. So this is why when I talk about being Christ-like and all these things, what they are pretty much referring to, it's you. Regardless of what part of the earth that you go to, man, man has always worshiped God. Call it their gods, you're different, your God is different, regardless of what it is. Ultimately, no matter where you go, there's a part of us that requires, we know there's something greater in us. And I do say in us, because even if you say God is not in you, but for you to admit to, or even to understand, or even to agree that is bigger than you, there's a part of you that has to agree with that. That's why there's no God without you. And like I always tell you guys too, I mean, if you Islam, Jesus means nothing to you. No matter how much you may choose to tell this motherfucker he's gonna go to hell, he's not following the right God, but the God he's under doesn't give a fuck about your God. So therefore, your God means nothing to him, and so is your God. I mean, his God means nothing to you. For his God to be valuable, he had to say yes to it. Just like you're the one saying yes to Jesus, or whoever the fuck, whatever the fuck. So I mean, regardless of how little or belittle you want to belittle yourself, I mean, it's good, but unfortunately, I mean, you're all part of it too. I guess unfortunately for you. But anyway, but that's also part of understanding our nature too. We become what we eat. The knowledge. Oh, anyway, I'm getting a little bit way ahead of myself here. But that goes to tell you how excited I am today, guys. But most importantly, if this is your first time, that's pretty much what I do. Now, going back to, as part of our essence, seeing how emotions can either block your understanding and prevent you from seeing, more than you should, or more than you would want to. This is referring again, like our essence, like it's more, there's more to us than just this physical eyes. Because if that was the case, well, think about it. Your emotions wouldn't have anything to do with your inner vision, meaning the way you look at life. Or even to somehow have an impact on your actions. So because of that, anyway, making a long story short, because of that, most people would go like, you know what? Your emotions are very weak. In fact, that's why people are saying emotions are fucking weak. Because, according to people, they don't make you strong. Meaning you don't get to see the full picture, or you don't get to be the best that you can be, or shit like that. But now, let me be the first one to tell you, well, not the first one, but one of the ones to let you know, that is the biggest mistake ever that anybody could actually do. Because when we're talking about the very basic or basis for toxicity is a suppression of your emotions. So because of that, most people would just like altogether just trying to escape their emotions and being more logical now, or being more mental, or let's just say more logical, for lack of better terms, right? But now here's the thing. Without even them knowing, they become as short-sighted as the person who is emotionally unbalanced. Because without having your emotions, being logical can make you very delusional. Meaning you become very rigid. That was the whole idea of Judge Dredd, if you see the movie. He becomes very rigid. He would just arrest anybody for anything. The law is the law. and then they're showing you that he was being played, the people who are creating the law are not even following the law. Like, they create the law for you. You know what I'm saying? Then they tell you, you know what I'm saying? Then they reward you for your behavior, which is to following those laws. But anyway, without getting too much into that, what I'm trying to say to you here is that without your emotions, it is as much as having too much emotions. It's the same end result, because you become also short-sighted. You don't get to see the full picture. Because being emotions, that is why being emotionally intelligent is a very big thing. Because you still know how to use your logic, but you also understand that you're dealing with emotional people at the same time. That's when you will see people to tell you, man, just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it. This is all part of adding a little bit of emotion into your fucking logic. Do you see what I'm saying? And the whole idea is for you to see a bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be wrong sometimes, man. I mean, there's nothing logic about arguing with someone who's not on the same level as you, and then now you try to be logical by trying to explain, you're trying to break it down. There's nothing intelligent about arguing with a fucking fool. But for you now, it's not just the logical thing to process somebody as a fool, but it's you to use your emotion for you to relate to them and to understand that they don't have the same understanding as you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we also have a misunderstanding, and even in our culture, I'll give you a perfect example. When guys are saying women are emotional, I always feel like there's a negative connotation to it. As if when we say that we are logical, as if it is better than them. Whereas that's why, some comedian would tell you, hey guys, females are smarter than you guys. When you cheat, you do this. Like, the whole idea behind that, it's like, don't get it fucked up by don't being emotional doesn't mean you're stupid, bro. Do not equate emotion with being stupid. Emotion simply means like they go by how they feel. If it's like, okay, baby, we're going to the movies at 8. And then closer to 8, you know what? She doesn't feel like going anymore. Like, what the fuck happened? Or you had a fucking argument with her, whatever the fuck. She's no longer feeling that way. And that is her fucking right, bro. Like, she ain't got to be straight up like the way, because you already talked about 8, and then it has to be 8. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to get you to see it from a different perspective. So being emotional has nothing to do with being stupid, bro. And being logical has nothing to do with like there's a higher sense of reasoning in it. No. This is why it's important, the masculine and the feminine must come together. This is why even you as a person, that's why as a spiritual healer, I help you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. You have to embrace all part of you, not suppressing any parts, as if one is more valuable over the other. That's not true. That is in itself a fucking illusion. This is you thinking that's because you ate from the tree of good and evil. You have a dualistic perspective. This is you talking about God versus Satan. That type of mentality. But yet again, even if you're looking at the Bible, you'll see God and Satan are always hanging out. They had a rager on motherfucking Job. They had a bet. So these niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? It's always like that. God never really stopped you from God. I mean, I know these motherfuckers are trying to tell you, because of willpower. But okay, fine. So that means what? They're not working together? Is there, I mean, what exactly are we saying? Because either way, even if you're saying, okay, God want to taste your faith, want to taste your, I mean, shit, like he doesn't know you enough? He couldn't see that? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, be careful about what you're saying, because a lot of you sometimes you saying God is know it all, and then at the same time you're contradicting what you're saying. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, just like anybody on earth, we all good people do bad things, bad people do good things. We all need a little bit of good things and bad things in our lives for us to be complete, for us to be fully developed. That's the idea behind it. You have to learn how to be insecure enough for you to become secure, and secure enough for you to be insecure. You know, and that's what we call the polarity. They both goes hand in hand. They go together. But anyway, I was just saying that to say, you know, it's not the idea of separation, you know what I'm saying, or one being better over the other. You know, there's it's not the way it works. That is the path to actual destruction. Anybody who thinks that way, I mean, is destruction. In fact, that is the reflection of the very society that we're living in right now. That good and evil, that part. And all of that. Anyway, so, because, okay, here's the science behind it, just so you guys know, because I'm feeling generous to say this. When you eat, I'll pass. But anyway, ooh, but that was good though. That was good. So, what the fuck was I talking about? Yeah. So we were talking about in terms of emotions and your intellect. One is not better than the other. Just like you need your reasoning, your logic, and you also need to use your intuition. Your logic is no greater than your intuition. You know, in fact, we may argue that your intuition is greater because it will tell you things that logically you wouldn't be able to process. That's why you have to listen to it and use your logic so they work together. When you get a hunch or certain things that happens to us, again, it's a constant marriage. It's a constant union. It's pretty much a I mean, it's a continual process of that's what the word harmony comes in. This is when now we could talk of harmony. This is where your physical and the mental comes together. And I want you to keep that in mind, because what we're going to be talking about tonight, it's, you know, knowledge into wisdom. But anyway, so now that you understand that, you know, it's vital for you to be both mentally and emotionally balanced, because I wanted you to see it, the minute you choose a side over the other, you automatically become short-sighted. Now you become too logical, you become too rigid, you don't get to see the full picture. And then when you're too emotional now, I mean, you know, you're not making it make sense. No one is telling you not to love, but love the right person. This is where now you adding logic to your love and understanding. So that makes you better, a better chooser, you know, overall better. But anyway, let's proceed. Now, going back to... Now, what do I mean and I'm going to say this quickly just so, before we delve into what we came here to talk about, so now you understand how important it is for you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. So let's define what does it mean to be mentally and emotionally balanced, right? Well, let's start with your emotions first. What that is pretty much is you acknowledging your emotions. It's you having an understanding of why you feel a certain way. You're not just being triggered, because when you're being triggered, you're not aware of what's taking place, right? But, to be in your feelings, not in a negative way, but meaning you understanding, having that communication, you have to use, with someone who's passionate. That's another way to fucking put your emotions into it. Whatever the fuck you're doing, your game, your art. But anyway, that is just to name a few. But most importantly, when you identify and understand how your emotions work, and then now you identify your emotional patterns, then now you have the ability now, to, if you were about to be triggered, then something would just, then you'll be aware of it. Then you could modify it. But any of that wouldn't be possible if you're not acknowledging it. This is why it is like the very essence of toxicity. It's when you reject your emotions. But anyway, so being mentally balanced, that's what, emotionally balanced, that's what that entails. Now, it's the exact same thing, our baseline understanding when it comes to being mentally balanced. It's the same, underlying shit here. Like, you need to understand how your mind works. How is your mind being shaped? When we talk about culture, it's not just food, but how you train or condition to think as being part of this culture. You have to acknowledge that, because if you don't acknowledge it, then at this point, you're not mentally balanced. You're just following orders. In other words, just so you guys know, that's what mind control is. It's no conspiracy theories, no conspiracy or none of that shit. It's just being trained to think what to think. They tell you what to think. A perfect example, if I'm showing you any painting that shows some sort of fire, what do you have in mind? Hell, demonic, and all that. That's part of our culture. That's why you have to understand that. Whereas in other culture, being in fire like that, it's not implying nothing negative. Like when you saw Neo, I'll give you a perfect example, and I think it was the second Matrix. After he talked to the architect, he was on fire. He left the building telling the guy, yo, I hope we don't see each other again. This nigga was lit. But that fire didn't mean he was burning in hell. Do you see what I'm saying? Fire can also be, your devotion. But I'm saying that to say, when we're talking about being mentally balanced, you have to discern and understand the difference between, how your mind works, which would in turn allow you to identify, let's just say, the school system is training you to think a certain way. The government is training you to think a certain way. Whatever the fuck. It's you being shaped. Everything that you come in contact with at your job, you behave a certain way. There's just certain things that are acceptable. There are other things that are not. Whatever the fuck. Like, it all comes, like, you have to understand what kind of impact does that has on you. Like, I'll give you another example. In our culture, we define a successful relationship as marriage. Meanwhile, people who really got married would tell you, hey man, our relationship just got started, man. Well, just when you thought it was over, nah, man. Now you really have to defend it now. So what you thought was the ultimate prize, I mean, it's not it, man. In other words, the saga continues. But it's not just that too. You see a lot of motherfuckers, you go like, y'all should be divorcing. So does marriage really equate a successful relationship? To a point now, even in our society, niggas will tell you, you know what? Well, did he marry you? As if, again, it become a successful relationship. That's what we do. But you have to acknowledge that, though. So that way you don't fall for the okey doke. So being mentally balanced pretty much means you understanding how your mind works and you being in control of your own mind, making the best out of it, to truly, freely thinking, not thinking of what they tell you to think. So, with all of that being said, another part of my routine, guys, and this is your first time, I'm going to let you know now, is that I always take a second to talk about spirituality. And spirituality simply, as a spiritual healer, it's another way of me being transparent to you, but most importantly, for you to understand where I'm coming from. This is what this shit is about. So again, like, when we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about you, me. Not them, not, the fact that you have to dress up a certain way. Now, that has its own meaning. As some people become spiritual, meaning you have acknowledged that spirit in you. Now you understand, oh man, I need to meditate too, because it makes me better. I need to go to the park. I need whatever the fuck you felt like you need to do now to add values to you that goes beyond, let's just say, physical shit. You understand you have to feed your mind too, like just like, you have, because you acknowledge now there's another side of you. And I want you guys to keep that in mind, because that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. To turn wisdom into knowledge, those two different aspects of us have to successfully come together. And I'm going to tell you exactly what they are. But anyway, and again, this is that constant, that holy communion that you need to have within yourself for you to become Christ-like. And anybody who became Christ-like is the one that now the word has been made flesh. Anybody who's going to be Christ-like is anyone who has now successfully turned knowledge into wisdom in their own life. Do you see how this is all fucking connected? But then again, spirituality is you. When you fully get to have a deeper understanding, even when we were just talking about emotions, how would emotions not allow me to see things? And when we're talking about seeing things, we're talking about understanding things, having a perspective on life, or a certain perspective. All of our lives is based on how much you know. You cannot go any further than you can go. This is why, if you know about Rich Dad and Poor Dad, the whole idea was to give you a different perspective, because it's your life will be a reflection of your perspective. So again, you are not as physical as you think you are. Although you are also physical at the same time. And that's what spirituality is dealing with. This is our story. Like in spirituality, we say, for instance, you act like you're God. This is not a belief system. Don't Christians follow what their God says? And their behavior is a reflection of that? That's simply what that is. If you're a Buddhist, then you're going to act in accordance to what Buddha says. And then you're going to reflect the stuff that Buddha talks about that would reflect, that would plays, I mean, that would be playing into your reality. So this is why when you truly understand it from that perspective, God, listen, man, it's you gotta have God in your life. People that are valuable, people has values. If you don't have values, you're not gonna be valuable. That goes for anybody. So again, do you see what I'm saying? And that's what, when Jesus was talking about all those valuable things, you have to become that. So again, man, we have to turn knowledge into wisdom. So now going back to spirituality again, it's simply a reflection of us. Then now you have people who become spiritual at this point, then you acknowledge, oh, I need to open up my third eye. Why? Because your third eye allow you to be more receptive to, like, let's just say, aha moments. When you go and meditate, you don't have an answer for something, have a question. Then you ponder on it. You are expending, you awakening, you sharpen up that dormant side of you. That's why you need to meditate. It's another way of saying you are waking up the beast in you. You know, that part that was a little non-active, now you are activating it. That's why through meditation, your mind becomes sharper. And when you open up your third eye now, you become more receptive to downloads, intelligence, or other spirits, or aha moment, or any type of inspiration. You see, when people get fucking inspired, you know, it comes through your third eye. That's what your third eye helps you with. That's why you'll see people who understand that, you know, they would go to certain places to be inspired. So you're unlocking things in you that's making you greater, that's making you better. That's what you do once you acknowledge that spirit in you. Now you understand, again, you have to feed yourself. It's more than just dick and pussy. And that's all that is. Now on the flip side of that, you have something called now the occult, or what I call the esoteric knowledge. And as we're going to be talking about the esoteric knowledge, it's going to be a great segue to, you know, for me to step into what we're going to be talking about tonight. But anyway, you know, that esoteric knowledge is the type of knowledge that cannot be taken for face value. Like, in fact, I just dropped a short where I was telling people not to be part of that 5,000, which is technically the crowd that was following Jesus, you know, so they could be fed again. And what I was saying, this is what manifestation has turning into. You know, it's that good gospel that people are talking about, but it's that prosperity gospel. It's that prosperity, like, okay, so when we're talking about certain things, abilities that we have, that should lead you more to even question or for you to master who you are. I mean, no one is even thinking about it from that perspective, but you know why? Because there we go, mind control again. They didn't want you to see it from this perspective. And because you're under mind control, you're not thinking for your own fucking self, then now what do? Manifestation now, everybody, I don't chase, I'll attract. I don't chase, I'll attract. I don't chase, I'll attract. That's all I've been hearing. As if, like, and you could see the fucking arrogant, as if, like, bitch, please. Like, because I remember meeting this dumb bitch who was saying, you know, she was having attitude. I mean, not to me directly, but I saw the way she was, and then she, you know, she said, I don't chase, I'll attract. All right, good luck with that. Go ahead, be a fucking fool, have stink attitude, and then talk about you attract. Let me see who the fuck you gonna attract like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't understand, like, the attracting is you got to become that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the part. I mean, you all want to get the fucking results, but never going through the work. You want, you know what I'm saying? And that's what, that instant gratification, they've been finding new and newer ways of selling you that shit just to make you feel good. Now everybody's talking about, all these motherfuckers, they always tell you there's something you're not doing right. Why is it none of these professional manifestors are not like Elon Musk? Do you not want to have that kind of money? You don't manifest that in that's not part of your manifestation? Do you see what I'm saying? It's the bullshit, man. It's the bullshit. This shit is turning into that kind of bullshit. But anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, you know what I'm saying? Now you're using those divinity in you, you know, for like for clouts. Now manifestation now it's a substitution of for you, you know, let's just say for you to get a second job, or even for you to open up your business, whatever the fuck it is. It's blasphemy, man. It's blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? None of you guys, this big talk of manifestation should be leading you to you. What does that say about you, about us? See, you're not seeking for the kingdom of God. But anyway, why the fuck was I talking about that? I was saying that for a reason, though. I was talking about that for a reason. Oh, my bad. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? In fact, we're just going to leave that there. But then again, when we're talking about the esoteric knowledge, right? It's the knowledge that is not for face value. That is the knowledge that helps you. Man, listen. You know what? It's funny how I never talk to you guys about voodoo, right? But everything I'm saying here is all about voodoo, man. When you're talking about the mystics, the mysticism, all that is don't be spooky. It's the part of you that you don't know. That's what a mystery is. You cannot be honestly tell me who you are. Yeah, you know your name. You may, but whatever, but there's so much to us. The people, those spiritual leaders who came out to let you know about that those are the people who got to know us better. Then now when you have people like Jesus was telling you, hey man, you are the Son of God. You have this ability in you. Because they had, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, they have went that route. That's how you become a mystique. Like when we're talking about voodoo, you going into what we call the mystère, which is yourself. Your self-development, you're going through that whole process. Again, I was talking about mind control too, not what you've been shown to think that's what voodoo is. In Haiti, we have the saying that says 90% or 99% of people are into Catholics, or they are Catholics, but 100% of us are fucking voodoo, man. Do you know what that means? That means voodoo is not a fucking religion, man. It's a way. It's a way of being. It's who you are. Like, okay, let's take hip hop for a second. When you hear 50 Cent, and then you hear the Hot Boys, or you hear like Lil Wayne, yeah, for sure you could say, okay, that one is up north, that one is the south. But one thing you know for sure though, is that those are niggas vibe. Just like when you listen to the dance hall, you know what I'm saying? You could say Jamaican, but you also know it's nigga vibe. You know it's nigga vibe. Like if you listen to compa, if you're listening to whatever the fuck African music, I don't give a fuck. Yes, it's gonna be different, but you're gonna know it's nigga shit. This is who we are. Like it could be expressed in different ways, but you know that is like when I listen to funk, like I know, like when niggas say this shit's funky, I know that's some nigga shit. You ain't gotta convince me on nothing, nigga. And I don't have to be a black American for me to know that neither, nigga. You gonna know the vibe, like soon as you hear the blues too, you gonna know what's up. You gonna know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you listen to fucking African music, there's a certain flute that these motherfuckers like to use. Like, you know what's up. But anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, oh man, there's so much that's being said here. In terms of, you know, who you are. So, I mean, out of ignorance, a lot of us, we belittle ourselves. I got it. But the ones who know, come on, man. You know, even having a guy like Jesus telling you, you are the Son of God, the son of the true living God. And he loved using the living words too, to make you, to show you it's all in the action. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because we're going to be talking about that too. It's all in the action. Now, how do you become in harmony with yourself? Because for you becoming in harmony in yourself, this is also another way of you turning knowledge into wisdom. Do you see, like, there's a practicality about this life? It's all practical, bro. It's practical. There's no, like, there's no half stepping. I mean, it's either you building or you fucking destroying. Which one is it? And if you're not aware of you constructing anything, most likely you're destroying without you even knowing. And now, let me just say this, because this is going to be very related or relevant to what I'm about to say next. So now the occult, some of the basic shit you will learn about the occult. And speaking of that basic stuff, and that's what I'm going to delve into a little bit more, so you understand, you know, so you understand how you can become in harmony with yourself. So some of the basic shit you will learn from the occult is that we have a subconscious mind. You're like, oh shit. And they said the subconscious mind is so subtle. It's under the conscious mind. That means you're not aware of it. In other words, you become aware of it when you become aware of it. As you're looking into it. The whole idea of out of the darkness comes the light. That's what that means. Because for you to fully know about the subconscious mind, you would just have to tap into it. In other words, that's basically what they're telling you. You have to acknowledge it. It's not conscious. It's not the part of you that processes information, that has, you know, that retains memory, but yet it's in you. So that very foundation in itself is helping you to see beyond or understand yourself beyond your physical aspect or features. And that's what esoteric knowledge deals with. It's the type of knowledge that is, that gives you the understanding of the things you don't see. And that's hence the term occult. So the mystery, the mysticism, then you come to realize Carl Jung, he talks about the unconscious mind. Another bad motherfucker too. Another bad motherfucker. Because all of that shit is going to be relevant to what we're talking about today. You cannot turn knowledge into wisdom until you understand those aspects of you. Until you become in harmony with yourself. So you need to understand what they're calling the subconscious, unconscious. A lot of our actions derive from that aspect of you. This is why people will tell you it's what you don't see that rules you. For you to master yourself, or that's why you got to master yourself first. And yourself is the man within. Then you could master your environment. So that non-physical aspect of ourself, although we don't see it, in other words, they're telling you it plays a major part in who you are. Because all of your actions will derive from that. For instance, like I always like to ask people, if you can't tell me how stupid you are, well, guess what? You are still stupid. And that stupidity is stemming from your unconscious. So a lot of your actions derive from your unconscious or your subconscious mind, which is totally different from your conscious mind now. Your conscious mind is the part of you that processes, let's just say, information, that do all that shit. To a certain extent, memory. That's why they tell you never really forgot anything. They send you got to know how to pull it out. And us, the true masters, we know how to use our body for certain things. That's where you'll see, again, when you see, that's why I was going to, and I forgot to say that. When you see the monks, they dress up a certain way or they behave a certain way, you know what I'm saying? It means something else. This is part of their spirituality. This is how they chose to express who they are. But that's not what makes them spiritual. You're already that. Now, as you embrace that spirit in you, however you choose to, like for me, like my dread was another way for me to express, just like these motherfuckers, they have monks, they wear their fucking whatever the fuck, the monk clothes, whatever the fuck, like, yeah, nigga, I got my hair, nigga, because that was another representation of a growth that was taking place in me. But having dreads doesn't mean you fucking spiritual neither, nigga. It manifests in many different ways. One implies the other, but the other one doesn't. Just like I always tell people, a strong mind, you will have a strong body. But a strong body doesn't mean you have a strong mind. So, man, so much to fucking unpack. So if you're following what I'm saying already, then you could see with your conscious mind, that's where motherfuckers always have the right word to say. But their actions and their words never really, like, you'll never lie to yourself. You can lie to other people. But your actions, that's why they tell you, man, yo, if you follow people's action, you don't have to listen to a word that they have to tell you, because their action do not lie. But if you want to listen to them, then they're gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what liars do, man. They do one thing and say another. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lack of harmony. In other words, like that's what we call in voodoo. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not in harmony with who they are. And a lot of people will not be able to until you actually go within. This is why it's important for you to know about your unconscious mind or the subconscious mind. In other words, this is why you have to delve into the mystère, or you have to become a fucking mystique. It's a must. Because the part that you see about you is being governed by a part that you don't see about you. So to master what you see, you have to master what you don't see. That's where the psychic comes in. This is where the inner work comes in. So for you to turn your knowledge into wisdom, man, you have to know who you are. And just like I was saying before, and that's what voodoo is all about, bro. Then now you're dealing with spirit and energy. That's what the fuck that shit is. Nothing of what you were told. I mean, shit, who the fuck would tell you that anyway? I mean, you don't know anything about it. But repeating what was being said to you. And for the most part too, as far as I can see, you know, I see how people are being comfortable or claiming to know as much as they, like you would think like when motherfuckers like it's not like a nigga would tell you, you know what, I don't really know much about voodoo, but what is being presented to me. But the nigga would be so comfortable to tell you this is what it is. And meanwhile, you truly being honest by you not knowing nothing about it? How do you know? Do you know or do you not know? Which one is it? Man, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. So again, and the one of us, the ones who became the bright ones, we understand what being wise is. To grow in life, you have to become wise. In other words, a wise man is a man that is living, or that knowledge now becomes part of their reality. It's the application of that knowledge that is being shown in their lives. That's why when you become wise, you don't argue with fools. You're not just saying it to say it. But why would you argue with fools if you know they're fools? You trying to be logical with a fucking fool? How smart is that? I mean, how logical is that even is? If it's not practical. So this is why the universe is all about actions. It all comes down to it's all about actions, man. That's where it's at. And that's why when Jesus talking about anything, Jesus talking about the living God, something that has to do with life, something that is taking place, something that's manifesting, you have to live it. It has to be experienced. When he was talking about what was he talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you eat whatever, like you drink out of this, you eat that food, you become that food. Those who are, it has to, but it's a practical thing. You have to be practical. You got to be hands-on, baby. It's got to be hands-on. There's no other way around it. You have to become the word that you are talking about. If not, that's what liars do, man. They behave a certain way and then they still on your motherfucking side. They say they love you in public and then they do shit like they're throwing a stone and hiding their fucking hands. That's what fake people do, man. And this is why there is so much disconnection in your actions, between your words and your fucking actions. Because a lot of your actions really stem from your subconscious mind. That's why you can't fake the funk. You can never fake the funk, bro. No matter how you behave, no matter how quiet you trying to be, people is gonna know who the fuck you are. And people may already know, but they never told you. But you probably thought people didn't know. Nigga, please. You cannot fake the funk. This is why they always tell you, man, like, regardless of how you try to hide who the fuck, like, you're always gonna be that. Do you, like, all those gay guys, man, like, look at Puff Daddy, fucking Tyler Perry, like, there's always gonna be rumors, man. You cannot hide it, no, regardless of what you try to do. Now, definitely Puff Daddy's fucking gay and shit, be fucking niggas. TG Jakes, like, you can't hide who you are. Until you make peace with it. It's either you make peace with it, you either change what was taking place in the subconscious level, or you become that. That's what we're saying. For you to change your life, you have to get into your subconscious mind. But what this is also saying is, this is how you also become in harmony with you. And this is how the knowledge is truly turning into wisdom. So those two aspects of you has to come together. And like I was saying, ironically saying, shit, that's what voodoo is, nigga. I just told you what voodoo was without even talking about voodoo. But how would you know? How would you know, man? This is why we say when we're talking about voodoo, man, it's not a religion. Anybody that says religion, like, no. You know, it's not the esoteric knowledge. I understand what they're trying to tell you. It's like it's a spiritual belief, just like you have this, you have that. That's what they're trying to tell you. But the true wisdom in it, it's not now. It's fully being who you are. You becoming the mystic, you getting into the mystère, which is you. And of course, energy plays a big part, nigga. You are spirit, aren't you? What do you think spirits are? Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's so much that's, oh man. Anyway, you know, turning knowledge into wisdom, man, you have to connect with your subconscious mind. Then you also have to water you have to water yourself too. You gotta nourish your higher self. Take care of your vibration, man, because you turn into what you eat. That's why they tell you, if you're doing toxicity, you're hanging out with hoes, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do? It's whole shit and all that shit. Because that's what you're getting yourself into. You got yourself into it, and then you somehow think you're gonna be different? Again, this is all showing you the same thing. You cannot serve two gods. What are you doing? Are you choosing you, or are you gonna go with the crowd? That shit could be said in so many fucking different ways. It all comes down to our essence, who you are, spirit. And that's how you work, that's how you operate. That means when you go beyond your physical self and then you're dealing with your character, all of that shit stems from your subconscious mind or the unconscious. And your subconscious or unconscious, however the fuck you want to call it, controls your actions. You have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? And regardless, that's why when you don't master yourself, you can't master nothing. You will constantly be triggered. It's just a matter of touching the right button. That's it. Some people you don't even have to touch no button. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess it's a matter of how well can you hide it. But you may be able to run, but you cannot hide. You can't fake the funk, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's why too, man, you have to learn. Look at people's action. Don't listen to a word they gotta tell you, man. Their actions. Their actions. They'll tell you everything you need to know. That's why, like, for me, like, nigga, like, what the fuck a nigga gonna tell me? Well, first of all, you would have to find me to even, I mean, I don't even know who you're gonna talk to. It ain't gonna be me. I could tell you this much. Whatever you gotta say, it's not gonna be these ears that's gonna listen to it. Because I really don't give a fuck. Now, every man has to rip the consequences of his actions. That's every man and woman. That's just the way it goes, man. Just the way it goes. Be careful what you do out there, people. It would always come right back at you, man. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? You don't want people to know that you fucking gay or you a fucking lesbian? Don't do gay shit. That's all it is. You want to do it and not for people not to talk about it? Well, peekaboo, motherfucker, we see you. Peekaboo, bitch, we see you. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Your lie's not gonna be my truth. Your lie's gonna be your lies. My truth is gonna be my truth. Not your lies. Fuck out of here. Think I'm stupid? Oh yeah, I'm stupid. But anyway, guys, let's get into, well, I guess we are already talking about it. I'm trying to break down the science for you to understand. For you to become in harmony with yourself. For you to turn your knowledge into wisdom. For you to become whole. You know, for that marriage to be successful between, you know, God, Jesus always talk about the wedding. You know, the church, you represent the church, you and then God. A perfect communion, a holy communion. You know, who talks about the yoga? I don't know. The yogis talked about, it's all the same shit. Now in voodoo we say harmony. What you say and what you do must be one. That's what being in harmony is. That's how you turn knowledge into wisdom. So again, what this is all talking about here, once again, it's you, my dear friend. So for you to become fully developed, for you to attain that Christ-like consciousness, your words and your actions needs to be one. That's what the being perfect as your God in heaven is. That's the perfection that, we talked about when we talk about you being perfect. The yang and the yin. Your masculinity and your femininity. You must embrace all of these things. Do you understand? Like, to be in the kingdom of God, you cannot be living in houses that is built by men. Whenever you try not to be who you are, you worshiping idols. A car identify who you are. You have no self-esteem, but only self-worth. You know the price of everything, but no values. That's what we're talking about here. That is worshiping idols. That is the vanity that we're living in. This is you keeping up with the Joneses, not having God in your life. Again, that's why anybody who talks about God, God has to come within. Because all we're doing is testifying my experience with him, how great he was, how he helped me to elevate. Come on, man. I could tell you how I was able to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, man. That whole Psalm 23 is my life, nigga. You have to become that. Then now you'll get to see what David meant when he said that. Now, because now you got to see it from the same perspective that he saw it. I saw the same thing. I stood in front of him too. Moses, just like Moses, Abraham, all these niggas, I also stood in front of God. The fuck? I had to see it for myself. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Jesus. But I had to see it for myself. And let me tell you, they are not lying. For you to become fully developed, this is why it's important. You have to turn knowledge into wisdom. In other words, you also got to bridge the gap between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. In fact, the more you do it, that's when you're going to realize you have been fully integrated. That is the connection between your lower and the higher self. Man, listen, man, there's so much more I would like to tell you fuckers, man. So much more, man. Oh, I got a mouthful for you, man. Trust me. Trust me, I do. Trust me, I really do. But then again, the bottom line here, what I'm truly trying to talk to you guys about, man, that's why you have to embrace. You got to step into the mystère, man. Don't use the law of manifestation just for you to get a car, bro. To get a dream house. Use it for you to know who you are. To step into the kingdom of God. Try to figure out, okay, what else can you do? What are your spiritual abilities? Besides, having the power to manifest. And I'm just dumbing shit down too, man. Like, just to show you, like you guys are using it. This is that gospel fucking spirituality, I guess. This is going to turn into a gospel spirituality. And this is where I told you guys, man, even The Secret fooled you. It was another marketing tool to, like Chris Rock said, did you go to sleep and wake up the next day? Do you notice, like, you would see this color and then after you see it, then you start seeing it again? These are all shit you're already doing. What the fuck is the secret? What's the secret? You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you what the secret is. They still didn't tell you the true secret. You know what I'm saying? That shit sold a whole lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? They selling you this prosperity shit to make you feel good. Then you have motherfuckers now who are giving you a fucking class in manifestation. Then, like, my question to you to ask these motherfuckers, like, okay, so let me see your life. What have you manifested? Do you see how the hype, people just, I mean, hustlers too. Hustlers too. You know what I'm saying? Because the true spiritual life, man, that's not even part of it. I don't know where does that fit in. I guess if we're talking about the law of vibration. And again, in one of my last recording, I was talking about the whole idea of Jesus turning water into wine. There you go. Water into wine. This is your knowledge into wisdom. And that was held at a wedding where there was a union. And that's all you got to do. Just turn the other cheek. Change your perspective. Don't throw Jesus away. Just change your perspective on Jesus. That's all you got to do. Then you'll see how powerful it is. Right now, you're just repeating how powerful it is. But when you simply tweak it, put Jesus in your place, or you in Jesus' place, oh, you're going to see the difference. That's that water you need to turn into wine. That's the knowledge that has to turn into wisdom into your own life. So we're talking about true life transformation. The action everything is in the action. That's why they say it's not the one that are saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But what have you done? How have you transformed? And just like I was telling you guys, a lot of you guys, you have a small clarity about, okay, there's something greater in life. And then you just embrace Jesus and then you stop growing. Like I said, the bigger you become spiritually, inwardly, the lesser a book would have. I mean, the book is, until you become powerful enough, then you become the book that then no book would have power over you. That shit don't even make sense. But I get it. Most of you can't even see it for now, but it's okay. And I already talked about that, so I'm not even going to go there again. It's all in the action, man. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you guys here. I think I said enough. It was definitely a great pleasure having you guys in. You already know. What you do for money, you do it badly. To do is to be. Those are the laws you got to know. And if you're false to yourself, you can never be true to somebody else. And if you're true to yourself, you can never be false to nobody else. And I'm going to leave you guys with this one. And as always, remember, the remedy of the pain is in the pain. Aisyen. Mali.